I don't know how to feel excited for it just yet. There's a lot of potential loopholes here for both compositions. Todak, their lineup seems a little bit more flexible overall, but that early game is where they need to pop up before level 4, slow down that lane, and more importantly, really force Izanami out of that lane, because he will have zero control over it.
I don't have the most solid CC for Ling or 1-1 either, so this is an opportunity. But will they be able to grasp that opportunity? The eternal rivalry continues. HomeBois versus Todak in the land of Dawn.
Let's see where both junglers are going to start. It's going to be a purple start for Amal, and for Zayed it's going to be a purple start for him too. They're going to end up on the opposite sides of the map and probably sacrifice. Actually, where is the Litho Wanderer going to spawn here? We'll find out in just a little bit.
That Litho could make the difference in terms of EXP, though we won't know for now.
It's going to be it's going to be towards that top side. Khalid didn't go for the initial roam and attack. Does go for the tank emblems, common emblems for Chiku, guys, right? No surprises there, but he's not going for Master Assassin. He's expecting Soul to have control over this lane.
We have to note as well, this is a Angela mid lane, not in the roam position. That's Cho for Mal. So that means we may be lacking in mid lane damage, which is quite important because mages have been contributing on the highest total DPS so far this season.
Yeah, but then again, even from last season, whenever I see Izanami on this Angela, it's like you're not utilizing the player enough. I get it, he may not have a lot of good comfort picks, and some of the others just don't feel that great, so this is their best bet. But even so, I see many times where Izanami is just waiting to do something, but he's incapable because of the kit.
So far, both junglers going to still be mirroring. Zayed actually a little bit slower than Amal, since Amal has already taken the gold crab on the opposite side. But that first turtle going to be the most important timing of all.
See the gank timings here. They're going to leave gold lane isolated on its own island. Doesn't look like Momo or even Crush are losing out in the lane. I do think it's interesting that Crush decided to go for Warcry here.
Warcry on the Edith. It can play a role, considering that once you pop that Primal Wrap, you do actually do quite a lot of DPS, but you would usually want to go for a more defensive emblem.
Yeah, that's what I would have imagined as well. Both sides probably not going to be touching the turtle. They don't want position over it just yet. It's particularly dangerous for HomeBois to take control of it, so they don't mind if Todak walks up, especially since Yanlord is not level 4. They can just bide their time and wait for a pick.
A lot of it comes down to which roamer does hit level 4 first, and looks like it is Maul in this case. So HomeBois can get started by pulling the turtle over to their side, but both junglers want to get this last buff before they commit to it.
Yeah, jungle's going to be the priority here. Main spearheads against each other. They're going to be positioning well. Gold lane's still isolated, but Momo, he's looking for an opportunity.
Oh, Eternal Guard gonna catch out Crush, forces the flicker into the turtle pit, right into the taunt of Yanlord, but Yanlord very far in front with the revitalize. Raging stats for flickers forward, lands on 2! Momo gets the catch he needed! And Heartguard forced out onto Ling. They're now jumping onto Yanlord, Avatar the Guardian out, Momo somehow lands the final hit on the turtle! So that is a win for Todak.
Really good stuff from Todak. Great communication between the players, and even Chiku, guys, getting an amazing trade against Soul. Everything is just working out for Todak at this point of time. Now, I think that, personally, I feel that Mal needs to start initiating. They need to get some big spells out of Todak first before Amal or even Soul can get involved.
And Crush, unfortunately, being caught out that early meant that they were lacking in initiation entirely, and Todak was controlling the entire flow of the fight. Now Momo also 2 levels up on Crush.
Yeah, I mean, Crush, he ended up missing on a wave. That's going to cost him so much here in the early game. It doesn't mean that he's completely out of it, but it does mean that Momo gets a walk around for free. He does have 63 seconds left on that flicker. Expect to see Todak make more aggressive plays when it's available.
Timing was close there from Chiku. Actually nearly stole the purple, but it looks like HomeBois did anticipate it as well. They actually slowed it down to make sure that wouldn't happen.
Amal still going to be power farming with the majority of the kill squad from Todak heading to the bottom side. It's not going to be easy. Crush may not have... Oh,
Terrify, Eternal Guard, Raging Sandstorm lands in. Heartguard, are they going to commit it? And so far, Crush actually saying, I don't need it right now. Primal Wrath will save me.
Yep, Zayed ended up getting knocked up by the Earth Shatter there. Oh.
Amal also diving in real deep. They get the kick onto Zion Senpoi. So HomeBois strikes back.
I don't think even Zion was prepared. for the HomeBois to be that deep in their base. Not to mention, sorry, that deep in their territory. Not to mention that Mal having to commit Flicker to it as well probably was out of vision for Zion Senpai. But it's okay. They can still recover from this. 14 more seconds. The next Lord is about to spawn. I'm looking at both junglers, both equal level.
Taking out the enemy mid lane 10 seconds before the turtle spawns, though, is actually a pretty good timing because it forces Zion Senpai to deal with the wave before he can actually start setting up for the turtle pit.
Speaking of which, Lord already here with the help of Momo. But I think at the very least, as long as Lord is able to hit a taunt, they can guarantee a Raging Sandstorm to connect.
Well, Turtle gonna be started by Zayed. Onward on Momo. Lord with Mal in a 1v1. Momo dealing with Izanami and Crush at the same time, trying to lower as much HP as possible. Both junglers still gonna be waiting to take this final buff before Turtle.
Yep, Sandstorm Grind being used by Momo to keep himself extremely healthy. This is why the hero is really obnoxious to deal with.
Lord charging up the taunt, not gonna commit to it. Mal isn't the target he wants, and right now Mal is actually the only one here because Tempest Ablaze Heartguard being committed onto Chiku, guys. Up top, Spear of Destruction lands, but he's not gonna be able to get away from Soul. HomeBois trades the turtle for a kill on the gold lane. Eternal Guard lands on Mal in the mid lane. Raging Sandstorm does catch out Crush as well, so they'll finish off the Edith. Mal a little too late to the party, so he jumps right into the Torn Rose, and Todak comes out with more kills.
Yep. 2 for 1 in favor of Todak. However, I will say that maybe the kills might not necessarily be worth it there. I feel like that mid-tier 1 was more valuable than those 2 kills. As bad as it sounds, Chiku guys can still recover later into the game. They committed how many resources? 3 people to that top side, including the Heart Guard, to guarantee that this would work. Chiku is totally fine with that. 3 items, he's ready to go, but the rest of the team need access to enemy jungles to find these flank angles, and most importantly, to slow Amal down.
Personally, I think they could have gone for the gank out top without committing Heart Guard so early, and if Izanami still had it, they could have been able to save someone in the mid lane instead, but they wanted to full commit to make sure Chiku went down, so it is an understandable trade in the end. We are 7 minutes in, not too much of a goal difference.
Yeah, it's been dead even between both of these teams, going back and forth, trading kills against each other, but it always is centered around these neutral objectives. With missing towers on the bottom side, as well as the top side, Todak have not opted to go for the lane swap just yet.
We have to say, though, HomeBois is farming quite a bit on Amal and Soul. Their lineup is actually more suited for the later game. Shinpo from Mal dodges Avatar the Guardian. Soul also able to jump away. Revitalize used by Landlord. Not able to finish off Mal, and the crossbow of Tang is completed. Landlord gets picked off. Heartguard on top of Soul keeps him alive, though Crush is going to be sacrificed in exchange. As here comes the Ling. Amal wanting to finish off Momo. Quicksand Guard keeping him topped up, but it's not going to be enough to survive as HomeBois comes out 2v2.
Really great placement with the Tempest of Blades, allows Amal to access the river, to access the lane, and still be able to dish out a good amount of damage. It's gonna be dangerous here. This turtle tank needs to be fast. Oh, the reset's gonna slow them down, but they've got plenty of damage to do this. They've got their marksman with them, and Zayed happily gets to walk away with a free turtle.
Todak having the confidence to still remain on the map to blitz the turtle down, knowing that Amal will want to restock on his purple buff before going for it himself.
Right now it's dangerous, right? Because HomeBois can be flexible with which one of the spearheads they can go with, either Amal or even Soul. I think Todak at this point of time really need to start splitting this map open, but it's tough, right? Because Amal can match them every single time. This is why we see the constant back and forth between HomeBois and Todak.
Yeah, I think Todak actually needed to make things happen a little bit earlier here with the Khalid and having a 1-1 Ling on the opposite side, because the later it goes, the more favorable it'll become for the HomeBois.
Well, to be fair, they did commit a decent amount of resources to the top side of the map, right? That's why Amal was kind of hanging around that area, trying to generate plays of his own. And even Crush, right? Rotating towards that mid lane, just to make sure if anything happens, he's there to respond.
We're gonna see a little bit of interaction in the river right now. Surprising, since there isn't really an objective here to play around yet. Worried that Todak may be grouping up a little too much. This is giving Amal a lot of space on the map to farm.
For how long this is gonna go, we're not entirely sure. This mid-tier 1 is being heavily defended by the HomeBois. They will not let this drop just yet.
Mal taking a lot of damage in. Shunpo dodges the taunt. Here comes Amal with the Heart Guard. Earth Shatter finds Yan Lord. He's gonna be thrown over the shoulder. We see the Spear of Misery knock Amal back. Avatar the Guardian from Yan Lord to escape from the clutches of the HomeBois.
Really good timing. He's not gonna have his battle spell or his ult for this upcoming Lord take. And that's something that Todak can't afford, because that was their big play, their big nuke to try and change this game. They will get mid-tier 1, which opens up access to the purple buff of Amal a little easier. But look at this, great utilization of the map, right? Even Soul getting a split push of his own.
Soul on the 1-1 means that he is quite capable of getting away from sticky situations himself, since Todak doesn't have any really hard CC. So he can actually go for the split push, same as Amal. Yan Lord in some trouble. Oh, the clicker kick. Wrong direction, but still works. Yan Lord coming back in. We see Zayed as well doing a good amount of damage. Spear of Destruction comes in. Heart Guard, though, on top of the link. Tempest Ablaze drops down. Chiku in a lot of trouble. He's able to jump away, but the crossbow tank comes out on top of Zayed. As Link jumps in, Amal finishes off Chiku, guys, and survives on a slimmer of HP, while Soul chases Zayed Samboy. Not able to continue that pursuit, but the job is done. 4 members of Todak dead.
Woo! Soul, he's on fire right now in this 1-1. Nobody can seem to stop him. Nobody has enough damage. They can't lock him down. The inbuilt Purify from 1-1 is just too much.
Free Lord going over to the HomeBois along with multiple kills. Soul at 4-0. Amal at 2-0. The late game heroes on HomeBois side already coming online.
Oh, that's a Malefic Roar purchase for Soul as well. He's really far ahead of the economic gold game. Oh, Yan Lord!
Lord gets the taunt. Heart Guard being prepared. Soul down to half HP, but he's fine. Yan Lord has to use ult again purely to escape.
It's getting real unfortunate for Yan Lord. But it's alright. Using the Sky Guardian's avatar this early, especially since the Lord is already pushing into you, I think it's totally fine, right? Unless you want to deter your opponents from sitting underneath your inhibitors, but there's plenty of wave clear from Todak's side, so there's no need.
But how long will Todak be able to hold? The scaling, again, is going to come into question. Chiku and Zayed can do a good amount of damage, but it's still not quite going to compare to what HomeBois has in store.
I mean, we say that, right? But technically, they're playing with a man down. Whenever the Heart Guard comes out from Izanami, that's one body missing.
That's also true. Zayed gonna try and clear the wave, but they're already buffed by the Lord, so that mid-tier 2 going to fall. Only the inhibitor is left standing. Lord crashing down bottom. Chiku jumping in to try and clear the Lord. Eternal Guard gonna be used as well, but I think the tower will still fall. Yup, that's gonna be less structures now for Todak to play around.
Alright, now, they put them in check, but not in checkmate. By the time the next Lord spawns, I'm pretty sure that as much as HomeBois want to develop into that 5k lead, they're probably not going to make 10k when the push happens. But when we look at the gold lead, Amal is currently holding a 2.5k gold lead over Zayed right now, already built 4 items.
4 items compared to only 2 on Zayed, so this is a massive lead in the jungle, especially when you consider that Ling is supposed to come online a little bit later than Lancelot. Todak already on the back foot, and feels like they've been that way for a while.
It really has been. Doesn't mean that they're out just yet, right? We haven't seen a proper team fight from Todak with all of their members going into a singular target. The front to back doesn't look as clean for Todak than it does for HomeBois, but then again, HomeBois, they have a lot more flexibility with the way that they engage.
With having the draft that they do, HomeBois have so many ways of getting into these fights, and Todak, unfortunately, this draft is not really working out for them anymore, right? That Gatot pick in the last kind of countered initially already by the 1-1 and the Cho, and then they have Angela and Ling to jump into the back line as well.
They do, but is it worthwhile? It's a little tough to say, right? As much as I would imagine that going into the backline is always going to be a good idea for the HomeBois, I do think that they need to get rid of the big spells, one of which is going to be that Raging Sandstorm from Momo, so at the very least, this Wanwan is able to kind of like break through the middle of the battlefield and actually get into the backline. Same goes for even Crush, right? As much as you want him to absorb the damage, if he's not getting spells out of Todak, it's a waste of time.
That is true. You ideally want to bait these resources out for the fight to be more secure, but HomeBois also has a lot of tools. Oh wait, they already got the crossbow on top of Yan Lord. Revitalize, not even gonna save him. Unstoppable streak for Soul as he continues working on Lord. Zayed comes in, Phantom Execution, he wants to steal this away, but Amal still secures it, and Zayed gets kicked to his death. 2 members down on Todak with nothing to show for it.
And the HomeBois are awake. They want the rest of these inhibitors and they want an end game fight. Todak just needs to survive this upcoming Lord push and they will make it to the end game. That's all they need. Survive this push and this game is winnable.
Alright, that's gonna be tough though. They only have 2 inhibitors left standing. HomeBois are 5-man strong, 5k net worth lead. Itemization should be maxing out now on their cores. Malefic roll completed on Amal. What can they do?
Hope and pray, Yanlord hits a nasty 5-man ult or something, or even Momo, because right now their combos have not been connecting.
That's a lot to ask for, but they have to do it. Lord is coming in, mid inhibitor has fallen. They're working on it. Eternal Guard actually lands really well. Winter Crown on Crush though survives. Random Execution finishes him off. HomeBois actually really grouped up right now, so Zai doing a lot of damage, but look at the crossbow tang. Winter Crown from Zai's standpoint gonna keep him alive for now, but Amal and Sol are both still alive. Momo trying to deal with Amal, but it's not gonna be enough. Killing spree for the Ling as HomeBois drop Todak down to his final 2 members. Zion and Zion's standpoint trying to do their best, but it is not going to be sufficient as the HomeBois takes them down.
Jeez.